Hi folks, I'm going to be coming to you with some video messaging. It's quicker, it's easier than having to read some text, and they'll be short and to the point, and I call them a point of view. Because very simply put, you either stand for something or you stand for nothing. And this week I just want to, you may have heard this before, but it's worth repeating. I want to talk about our value proposition. And years ago, our value proposition was easily identifiable. As a matter of fact, you could put it right in your hand. And it looked like this. It came in the form of an MLS book. And very simply put, we were the keepers of the information. Nobody got information about homes for sale unless they came through us. And that was our value proposition for many, many years. And then in '92, as the internet just started to gain some legs, and by the way, in 1992, only 2% of the consumers started the process online. Today, we're at 90%. There was a lot of concern, grave concern, within the industry that if the consumers have access to all the homes for sale, what will they need us for? And it started to call into question our value or relevance in the transaction. And in a lot of ways, with the consumers having access to all the information, they started to look at us like a commodity, where they really didn't see much difference from one agent to another. Because now that they had access to all the information, which is really all they wanted, the concern about who we use is an afterthought. As a matter of fact, at the NAR conference in San Diego this past year, one of the head honchos from Zillow, and if you're not familiar with Zillow, they're one of the third largest websites, real estate specific websites in the world in terms of traffic they drive. And he said something to the audience that was startling. First, he acknowledged the fact that a consumer currently in this environment can be in a research phase that can last anywhere from 6 to 18 months before they formally engage an agent. And by the way, back in 2002, just as a contrast, where the market was very robust, the research phase was less than 90 days. And that's why it's important to always have a pulse of consumer behavior so you can plan your business accordingly. That being said, he said something else that was very startling. And one side I was surprised, and on the other side I wasn't. When they're ready to engage, meaning when the research phase is complete, they will put as much thought into who they will actually use to represent them in the last mile of the process as they do who they're going to order their pizza from. That should give us great pause and to really take time to think about what our value proposition is. And oh, by the way, for those of us who will quickly say, well, I'm honest and I provide good service, there are 4,300 real estate agents in Rhode Island. Or if you will, 4,300 other businesses that you're competing with. And if we were all under one roof on a given night, and a consumer asked the question of the 4,300, how many of you are trustworthy? How many hands do you think would go up? All of them. If the question was posed, how many of you provide good service? How many hands do you think would go up? All of them. We really need to think about our value proposition. And today, our business needs to be built around a consumer service-based model. It's all about the consumer, folks. And we need to deliver extraordinary quality, service, convenience, and value. If we're going to make a meaningful difference in the eyes of the consumer. And we also, which I'm not going to talk about today, but we need to talk about, and we have been talking about for those who are engaged, understanding the research phase. How do we engage the consumer in such a way in that process, celebrating the fact that they are in a research phase and they really don't want us any form of help, if you will. Hi, can I help you? No, I'm just looking. How do we touch them in a preferential way that we differentiate ourselves in the eyes of that consumer, so when they're ready to engage and they want someone to take them the last mile in the process, they'll choose you. Think about that. In closing, a quote from Michael Gerber, the E-Myth: where the business is the product, how the business interacts with the consumer is more important than what it sells. Think about that. And I hope you enjoyed today's point of view.